All right. Welcome, everyone, to Tuesday Truths. I'm glad that you're here today. I'm Robert Roseberry, pastor at First United Methodist Church in Dade City, Florida. And this is a quick check in with me about some things going on at the church as well as around our community that we're involved in. And I hope that you enjoy this as a time of a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of announcements, a little bit of that kind of thing to keep you connected with what's going on here at First United Methodist Church of Dade City, Florida. So I wanted to, first of all, as we're doing this, a little bit of bookkeeping, ask that you, if you're on this video on Facebook, please follow our page, like our page, so you can keep updated with what we've got going on. Secondly, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead, like and subscribe to this video, like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and so you can stay connected with what we've got going on. So on our YouTube channel, we post worship updates. We post worship services on Sunday in our traditional service so that you can kind of stay updated with the message and with all the other things we've got going on. So we want to keep you connected with us. And this is one way, but if you want to stay connected and make sure you get those updates, you can subscribe and then click that notification bell on YouTube, and it will notify you every time we have a new video or when we're going to have a new video so that you can keep up to date with what we have. So, really dominating everybody's conversation right now is the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. We came through relatively unscathed, thankfully for us, but we have a lot of neighbors around our area, the Florida Conference, as well as just the local Tampa Bay area that are going through some really, really hard times right now. So, we do want to pray for them and help them in any way we can. And by the way, during this video, if you have any questions, if you have any sort of thing you'd like to say or you'd like to ask during the video, if it's about Sunday, if it's about anything else here at the church, please drop a comment or uh, drop a post a comment on the Facebook Live. I don't know how to talk right now, or post a comment in the YouTube chat, and I'll answer those as you post them. Going back to Hurricane Helene, the Florida Conference, which we're a part of as a member of the Florida United Methodist Church, they have been arranging a lot of things, trying to get some disaster relief supplies as well as volunteers down there and around the conference. We have lots of devastation on the West Coast, which we're closer to, and West Pasco and St. Pete, the Barrier Islands down in Pinellas, as well as Sarasota and Bradenton, and then going north of Pasco, we've got lots of damage. Cedar Key United Methodist Church is kind of an epicenter of some disaster relief right now, and on and on and on. There were so many areas damaged by Hurricane Helene, and we certainly want to lift them up in prayer. That is what I want you to do. Just pray for them. If there is a way you can help, please be a part of that. I want to let you know a little bit as we are in this video and we're kind of talking about things here. I wanted to add a Facebook page to the screen here. Let me try to get it in the best way possible. This is probably a little better. Okay. So in sharing this tab, I wanted you to know, so this is the Florida Conference Facebook page. We are a member church of the Florida Conference of the United Methodist Church. And so these are some things that they are doing. These are some pictures of the devastation around the conference. I don't always have captions on these, so I don't always know where they are, but um, this is one of our United Methodist churches. This is First United Methodist Church of I do not see. So there's a lot of First UMCs, but Abundant Grace United Methodist Church, they've got some damage there. If you look here, you can see this steeple is actually bent over. Really, really, and this is our bishop, Reverend Tom Berlin, who is standing in the sanctuary of a church and looking out over some damage. There's some hymnals that have got some water damage. I do know where this picture is. This is actually Cedar Key United Methodist Church. You can see the bending of the floor right there. This church just opened in April after the previous storm, after receiving a lot of damage from the previous storm, and now they are mucking out their church again after they had just fixed everything. And you can see how high the water got here, just with all they've had to deal with. So these are some more pictures from Cedar Key. Yeah, this is
So there's the ground way down there, and that's where the water got. So that is, 6 feet high or so. I mean, look at that. It's a door handle. And remember, this previous picture, right? This is above the ground, so this is a raised walkway at Cedar Key United Methodist Church. These are more pictures. Just so sad to see this in any building, but especially, one of our churches that people that work hard, volunteers just like you may be, who are a part of the church and give of your time, uh, you know, give of your free time to be part of something greater. This is what happens sometimes. And so these are some more pictures from things that have been left out of people's houses. We've helped to clean and muck out houses from around the conference. There has just been a lot going on, and they've posted some updates. So this is uh, this is how you can donate to the disaster fund right there. These are some Florida conference updates. Our Bishop Berlin has got a video here that you can watch on the Facebook page. And yeah, so there's a lot going on. There are ways to help, and hope that you'll certainly help out with that. There's a lot to do. And go to the Florida Conference webpage. That is flumc.org. They have resources for you. They've got ways that you can be trained to be a part of this. They had a training on Sunday, the 29th, but there will be other things. And if you look on here, I will share another tab here. If you look at the conference webpage, this is the hurricane webpage there at the conference. You've got a disaster recovery hotline, and the donating to the disaster support fund. And this is for reporting damage, which thankfully, we do not have. This is the training that was on September 29th. It was on Zoom and at Allendale UMC. So that was some practical skills and ways you could help right away. So this is another virtual meeting that they had for insurance claims, and on and on. Here's another video with the bishop on the 27th. And let me go the disaster relief webpage here. Let me disaster support fund. Go to administration or departments. Yes, departments here. I'm going to go to disaster recovery. Which is in here, connection with justice. Nope. Departments. Oh, I might have missed that. Wait a second. Clergy excellence, connection with missional engagement. They're in missional engagement. Disaster recovery is. And so here we go. Disaster recovery ministry. Let's see if they have anything on their webpage. All right. They've still got some. Hurricane Charlie was where really the disaster recovery ministry got set up and in the way it currently is. And so they've got, they do not have any sort of things up there right now. They are in full work mode. And go back to the, okay. All right. So I know that it did not share that page with you, but that is, that's what they've got. All right. So all that to say, there is stuff going on around the conference. The Gulf Central District is the district we're a part of. It stretches from the Pasco County line all the way south into down to the Skyway Bridge. So all the churches along the coast there and are a part of this district. And so a lot of them have been assessing their damage still. Keep in mind, it is only Tuesday. And so a lot of places are still just trying to figure out what to do. We're not the only conference that is dealing with this hurricane damage. So the two conferences in Georgia, North Georgia and South Georgia Conference of the United Methodist Church, they're also going through a lot of this damage, as well as, of course, the Holston Conference, some folks in the Tennessee Conference, and the Western North Carolina Conference. Western North Carolina has been some of the hardest hit. You may have heard about Asheville, North Carolina. There's been flooding in Nashville, but there's also been flooding in Asheville. And this thing came ashore in Florida. It's just crazy to think of how big this thing was. So a lot of flooding, a lot of devastation in that area up in the mountains, because you can be stuck on a mountain and not be able to get off of it because there's no bridge across to the next place. So they are going through a lot right now. Certainly they need our help. And I will also put here on the screen, let me get to this page here. Give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm being slow. Okay, so sharing this tab now. All right. So this is the United Methodist Committee on Relief. They are our local, or they're not local, they're worldwide really, but they're our disaster relief arm of the United Methodist Church. This is their webpage. It's you can get to it by typing in umcor.org. This is a different website because that's where it redirects, but umcmission.org/umcor is another way to get there. And yeah, this is a great website, a great way to look at what you can do. There are resources for local churches. There are relief supplies. That's where you can find things like the cleaning kits, and you can assemble a kit right here. You see this. There's menstrual hygiene kits instructions because those are needed in disaster areas, as you can well imagine. Hygiene kits and cleaning kits. If you remember a couple of years ago, the cleaning kits were the things we made in the 5-gallon buckets. A lot of times they are still called flood buckets because that's what they were called for decades. I think flood buckets is a little it's not as direct of what it is, but they're used usually for floods. And so that they would call them flood buckets. And then hygiene kits are personal hygiene kits for people who are located in shelters. We made some of those this past year. And so that is a great way that we can help too. And so there's the relief supplies. If you have questions, you can contact them. And they, and one thing I do want to point out, part of what they do as their ministry is when you give to UMCOR, 100% of your gift goes to that disaster relief effort. So you are not sending it to pay any sort of executive's salary. You're not going to pay for any other administrative stuff because as United Methodist Churches, we pay that through what's called our apportionment giving. So all United Methodist churches band together and we help to pay the administrative costs of UMCOR so that when there's a disaster, when there's an earthquake, when there's a wildfire, when there's a hurricane, when there's a flood, when there's anything else like that. And they even, for instance, worked, if you remember, way back when there was the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi and Flint, Michigan, UMCOR was there distributing water and trying to help people get resources. And so that is also some of what they do. And they do that with your gifts to those disaster response efforts. So when you give to UMCOR for this hurricane relief, for disaster relief, you'll be giving to support disaster relief. I believe the fund is the continental U.S. and it goes to those disasters. So 100% of that gift will go to disaster relief efforts. And so it is a really good way to give your gifts. I support them. I know a lot of other folks around our church do as well. It's a great place to give your money. So does anybody, I know there's a lot, I wanted to kind of wanted to go over this kind of as an announcement, but also as a plea for help for all these folks that are just hurting so bad right now. And they really could use our help. So this is UMCOR, and this is ways to give. And they operate all over the world. So, yep, these are the different things you can give to. International Disaster Response and Recovery. And they have these advance numbers, which are advance is project numbers. So you give to a certain project. You can write this on your donation and it'll go to that. So there are two ways you can give to UMCOR. You can go straight through their website and give right here, here the website that I'm on. You can also give through your local church. So here at First UMC Dade City, you can give an offering or write a check and write in that tab, write UMCOR, hurricane relief, or you can write down the advance number and I realize you may not remember it, but you can do that. You can send in that check and we will forward it on to them. So either way, whatever works best for you is what you can do. That's the U.S. Disaster Response and Recovery. 901-670 is the U.S. Disaster Response and Recovery Fund. So if you're giving to that fund, that is the number that you would give to. And if you put in Hurricane Helene relief, that's where we would put it because we understand that is where you're doing it. So does anybody have any questions before we head out and have our closing? All right. Well, if you do have any questions, remember to type it, but I do want to just encourage you. I don't know if you're watching this, in Dade City, or if you're watching this, somewhere along the coast that's feeling really devastated, but, wherever, whatever happens, because life just happens sometimes. You get a hurricane, you get an earthquake, you go through a divorce, all sorts of things don't always work out as we planned. And there are disasters that happen, and they are, like they sound, they're disastrous. And there's no easy way to get through that. It's just unfortunately, it's part of life on this side of the garden. But what we do know, and Scripture promises us this, we do know that the Lord watches out for us, and He's there with us in our grief. He's there with us in our hurt, and He is, He's there leading us through those times. So I thought that kind of a good scripture for today might be Psalm 23. It's often read. We read this when we need reassurance, when we need hope, when things are not going very well. And a lot of biblical scholars think that this could have been written literally as during a time of persecution. It could have been when David was running away from Saul. If you read that story in the Old Testament, as he is trying to escape death, murder by King Saul. A lot of scholars think that this might have been a psalm that David wrote to reassure himself that the Lord was with him, to kind of be that daily mantra. And it can be that mantra for you as you repeat this to yourself during times like you may be going through, depending on where you are, or maybe you did have house damage and you live around here. The Lord is with all of us. He is with us in our trials, and He shows us a way through those into grassy meadows and restful waters. So this is Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He lets me rest in grassy meadows. He leads me to restful waters. He keeps me alive. He guides me in proper paths for the sake of His good name. And even when I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no danger, because You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they protect me. You set a table for me right in front of my enemies. You bathe my head with oil. My cup is so full, it spills over. Yes, goodness and faithful love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the Lord's house as long as I live. So whatever it is that you're going through, pray that the Lord blesses you and keeps you, make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. And friends, those are the Tuesday Truths. Have a great week, and I will see you tomorrow or Sunday, if not before. Take care, and God bless.